I've never seen it.
I want to do something right off the bat. A whole new thing. We got Tom Thakkar, Michael Joyce is here. Tom has rewritten something. Mike doesn't know what it is that's rewritten. So we're going to do a game that is called the Newly Guessed Game, or Get to Know a Guest, the game. How it works is I'm going to ask Tom a question. Mike, you're going to answer what you think Tom would answer.
Okay.
Oh. So a little bit like the Newlywed Game, right? So you're going to answer what you think, and then Tom, you get to give Mike a score out of 5 for how close he is.
Because I was usually for the Newlywed, there's like a pre-interview.
Oh yeah, no. It's all just to make anal sex puns.
Yeah.
See, like the whole point of the Newlywed
Yes.
Game would be to get someone to say "whoopee" on network television, or say "backdoor" to an answer to
Here's the
something.
thing, you couldn't even get away with that these days.
You can't say anything anymore. You really, and you say "whoopee," you get cancel
Say
culture.
whoopee, you're done.
Cancel
You might as well
couture.
be fucking Bill Cosby.
Is there any sort of like high fashion for comedians called cancel couture? Could we get that going now?
That's a good idea.
Where it's just a lot of layers is like the entire thing that it is.
Just a Shane Gillis outfit.
You dress like a Notes app apology. Like just print it on the front. Yeah, it's dressed like Shane Gillis hosting SNL for the 11th time.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask a question. Mike, you'll answer what you think the answer is. Tom, you can be like, that's close, that's not close.
Okay.
So to help Mike get an idea, what would be like some movies you really like? You don't have to be like my favorite movie, but you're like,
Some
what's a few
movies
movies
I
you really like?
really
Like a
like.
Mount Rushmore or a whatever sort of list.
Dumb and Dumber. I just did a run on Hirschberg's movie pot, like where you have to pick a movie and then
And
that you
he
love, and
shits on it?
he shits on
Yeah.
it. Kind of forced and stolen from Stand By Your Band a little bit. But no, I was kidding. No.
Do not get me started on ideas that are near ideas.
It's also like it's an idea. It's like
You
it's
invented
good
just liking
because it's
something.
him.
Don't
Exactly.
don't back off now.
No,
you
I'm
came up
also
with the
kidding.
idea
No,
of
Stand By Your
disliking
Band is
something.
the opposite of it. It's us being like, oh, what's a movie everybody shits on, and
You
we'll
defend
defend
it.
it.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
we'll kind of help you.
So he's derivative.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's no, it's very fun pod. But I had to think about this exact question of Mount Rushmore of movies, and Eternal Sunshine is probably my favorite movie, and then Dumb and Dumber is way up there. I love the movie There's Something About Mary.
Okay.
And after that, it gets pretty hairy. I
don't
said
like any.
I said comedian.
Oh,
the
that documentary?
I've just I wouldn't
Morty
even say
Adams?
it's my favorite movie. I just have watched it more than any other movie.
Yeah.
I've watched it like 50 times. I love it. I do love it. It's very fun.
When's the last time you watched it?
It's probably, they put it on Netflix like 5 years ago or something like that, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just, because I had the DVD and I used to just pop it in all the time, and I hadn't thought to watch it in a while. I was like, I'm gonna pop on Comedian.
I wonder if they even asked anyone if they could put it on there, or if they just ripped it from a DVD and they're like, we'll see if anyone involved with this even notices.
No
and
one
they just
cares.
throw it up on there. Okay, so that sort of gives you some context, Michael Joyce, as to what Tom might answer for some questions here.
I'm looking into Tom's
So
eyes.
Tom, I'm going to ask you. You think about it, Michael. You answer it. Aside from, well, first off, first guess. What do you think he rewrote? What do you think Tom rewrote today?
Good question.
Okay.
I think we owe him whatever.
It can be. You know what we'll do? We'll tell you it's a TV show.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I felt like
Because
we owed
otherwise
him
he
that
might not even
much.
get into
I would
it,
definitely name a movie
Yeah, I
given
would-
that prompt.
That is the premise of the show. So yes, I would have guessed movie first.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna guess. What does Tom not give a shit about? I'm gonna guess like something like.
He did a Miranda Sings YouTube video. Tom did an unboxing video.
Yeah,
Tom did a guy unboxes a new iMac video.
I did a knockoff Mr. Beast video.
Is this a streaming era or network television?
Oh, network television.
Okay. I'm gonna guess it's some sort of popular sitcom that was on CBS. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, you think I haven't watched Everybody Loves Raymond, bro? I've met Brad Garrett himself.
He makes you watch it if you want to do stand-up in Vegas. He makes you fully watch an entire episode.
My family was a big Everybody Loves Raymond family. I love Ray
Call them
Romano.
Ray Guns.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You do a little break dance every ep.
Edit in me doing a cool dance.
We will. I'll put her body with your head sitting down here. We'll fix it in pre.
I really love giving a podcast a bunch
An audio
of
podcast, visual
a lot of
CGI.
work
Tom
to do.
showed up in one of those green Andy Serkis mocap suits.
I was like, you'll be able to do this. You're going to be able to do a lot of shit
Command
with
C,
this.
Command V.
I have like a bunch of those little
Dots.
nodes on me.
I gave him a new golf swing.
Yeah.
That's what I remember watching the mock because I played the Tiger Woods game. I think it was like 06, maybe one of those. So much that I was watching the behind the scenes where they show him in the mocap suit to capture the swing, and you're like, well, now that I watch this, it doesn't really look like a swing.
Yeah. So I would give that out. What am I
You could
rating
do
out
out
of?
of 5.
Yeah, out of 5, I'd give that a solid 2.
All right, and just
No
you get the
offense.
other points, so it's 3-2.
Oh
you.
shit! Now that I know that, that changes everything.
All right, Tom, what did you
2.5.
rewrite for the show today?
I rewrote Lost. I've never seen. I've only seen a little bit of the pilot. I never saw the show, so that will be reflected.
You know,
in
only
my-
seing a little bit of the pilot actually happens in the first episode.
It's true, and it happens. It also happens in my script.
Okay, we're gonna do a couple more of these before we get into the script. What movie have you seen the most?
I mean, I think I just said a comedian. If you
Okay,
count
that
that
is
as a
true,
movie,
that
if
is
not,
true.
then
Yeah,
Dumb and
Dumb and
Dumber.
Dumber.
That's true. We're gonna eliminate that one.
I think
Dumb
I'm
and
supposed to
Dumber,
answer
then.
that though.
Is that true?
Oh yeah, we'll have Michael
that's
answer
the
what he
game.
thinks you're guessing for the rest of these.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry.
That's okay. That one we
was
literally
fucked up.
said out
Yeah.
loud. I've watched this movie the most of anything.
Yeah, yeah. I just.
I need
said-
the
yeah,
points.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
We're gonna get a little more. You know, I
Right.
will give Tom 5 for answering that one before he even knew it was a question.
I am dominating. in this
Skating where the
game.
questions are going. What a gent. Tom, for Michael to answer. Have you ever had a movie poster up in your room? And if so, what movie?
Go for it.
I have to specify the Eras Tour counts as a movie.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
This is gonna be great.
Do you?
So there's yes or no, and then what movie if yes. or no.
Yes, that's definitely yes. And he's laughing. Is it Orny Adams? Just like no. I'm gonna guess Kingpin.
Oh man, you know
The guy from Daredevil?
that's an interesting guess.
I have a Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, yeah.
I do love that movie.
Kingpin.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
yeah.
dumb.
I thought you were kidding.
No.
That's hilarious.
I got a Vincent D'Onofrio poster
really
up in my
funny.
room. I like how serious he is.
That's not a bad guess because I do love that movie.
It's a great movie.
I feel like I have to dock you because the answers were right in front of you.
Was
it was
it?
comedian and
You really did have a comedian poster.
I had comedian
I should've
and
stuck
Dumb and
with Orny
Dumber. With Orny Adams, I would have given you a 5. That would have been perfect. You were
right.
so close.
That's a
And then-
3-2
And then I
again.
also had V for Vendetta.
Oh, sick.
This,
I probably had Godfather.
did you ever
too.
point at and you're like, this guy Fox?
I did not.
And you have a girl
That's
over?
pretty good though.
Thank
I
you.
That's
didn't.
pretty good.
It's probably why I never
Fix that
got
in post.
friggin' laid.
I didn't have the V for Vendetta mask.
I didn't think to say that when women came
Like,
over.
hey, shut the fedora. Hey, this guy Fox.
Is he wearing a fedora in it?
No,
God, I
no,
hope
just
that's not-
the
okay.
energy that I get from
Yes.
people who would say
Yes,
that.
for sure.
Okay, let me see. We're gonna
God,
keep
I wish
moving
he
through
was
here.
real right now.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
What a fucking loser.
You
to
know
be
what is like-
God, I wish we had Guy Fawkes
We need
right
it.
now.
We need Guy Fawkes so bad, right? Someone Photoshop that mask onto Luigi,
Yes.
not the guy, the character. I was
Yeah.
doing that. You know the show in Manhattan Beach, the Poncho show, Dano's show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just did that on Monday. I love Dano. That show is crazy.
I've
It's
never
so
done it.
busy.
The one time I was supposed to do it, the streets of LA were flooded, and I couldn't get. I couldn't get.
Oh, I bet people still went there. These are like degenerate adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
This-
he was like, "Oh, the show was fine." I was like, "Well, it's an hour drive for me, and I can't get out
And I
of
can't get there.
the block that I live on."
Yeah. I mean, these are all walkable. He was worried about the show because next week's St. Patrick's Day, so that'll probably be busy. And the week after is his anniversary show, so that'll be real busy. It's like
Right.
their 15th anniversary or something.
Wow.
And so he's like, I booked one guy on the show who hasn't really done stand-up, but he's funny. Everyone else on the show is like good, is like a stand. He's like, and I told him because he said he could bring a bunch of people.
Yes.
Well, without that guy, there were 100 people there
Oh,
in a room that holds 60. So
Nice.
it's like all the regulars were there because I think they
Hilarious.
also might want to avoid St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
So that show has a ton of regulars. So there's like it's packed, and then this guy brought 75 people from work,
Oh my god.
and they are all. This guy I think is like 45 or 50.
Oh, that's great.
And so they're all like 35 to 50-year-old men
Yes.
in like Hawaiian shirts and
Sure.
golf visors. And I said something. It was Mario Day. It was March 10th. And I was talking about like healthcare and my brain and stuff. And I was like, my favorite day is Luigi Day. You know, if you're in medical debt, you don't really care about Mario Day, but you loved Luigi Day.
Sure.
And they
Oh yeah,
hated it.
I can imagine. I gotta tell you, this is the first time I've ever heard March 10th called Mario Day. I like that.
I had only brought it up because Dano referenced it as Mario
Oh,
Day. I wasn't like
interesting.
introducing
Did he
the
dress up as
concept to
Mario?
people. He made the poster was a Mario thing. No,
Okay.
but like people like they like
I
clapped.
can't
Once he
believe I
explained
didn't-
what it was,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
clapped.
I like that. I just have never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And
Manhattan
then-
Beach is like all CEOs.
Right.
It is so, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Was that your guy's friend?"
Yeah, you fucked up. You
It was
stepped
real.
over.
And then from then on, it was. I mean, it was fine. But it was just
Yeah.
like it was like laugh, laugh, laugh. Oh, they'll love this funny thing I thought walking onto stage. Such dead silence that I
Yeah.
thought there might be footage of my set that was a CCTV camera that came out and people arrest me at a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys in that audience definitely did cocaine with the CEO who got
Sure.
murdered.
Yeah.
Well, it's also Luigi's a divisive character amongst certain demos.
Even
when I go
Nintendo
on the road,
fans.
it can be. It doesn't need to be. What do you call it? CEO adjacent people.
Yeah, it has to be aspirational rich.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who are
If
like,
you're a
honestly,
future
I'm just one
millionaire.
deal away.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm one scratcher away.
I'm an artist, and the art is of the deal.
Yes.
I did that show once, and Tommy Lahren was in the audience.
Oh my God, I
shit.
heard
Yeah,
about
the
that.
conservative.
Yeah.
yeah.
And she is like middle of the line politically for that audience in Manhattan Beach.
yeah.
Like she would be take it or leave it with references there.
Hilarious.
It's just like I do say people who are like, why don't you just pay the medical bills?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you just pay them cash?
Pay them off and you don't have to
even
worry
need
about them
insurance.
anymore.
Yeah.
There's only one comma.
Yeah.
There's only 3 digits in front of the comma and behind it. Okay, so next question. We have the movie poster up in the room. Next
Yes.
question here. Tom, you think of your answer. Mike, you answer. This is so fun because we have definitive answers to all the questions. Who is your favorite actor?
Oh,
Over to
I know
Michael
this. Jim Carrey.
that's. I'm gonna say. I give you a 4 for that because it's up there. You asked that. I don't even know who the fuck my favorite actor
Did anyone
is.
pop into your head or just?
You know who I love and it's complicated because I need more out of him. But Adam Scott, I love
Because I need more out of
I need
him.
more work to be shown, and it's like.
Well, the problem
I
with
don't
his
have a lot of
work is it's
movies.
all in one spot and his personal life is in another
That's
spot.
true. Yeah, that is a problem. That's a huge problem.
I think that I can tell that show is successful with younger kids, like because I keep seeing things about how his face looks different this season, and I'm like, oh, this is like a younger kid judgmental sort of. They're like, look
Yeah.
at would this guy age?
Well, it's also funny. Me and my wife have gotten into a lot of arguments about this. I've been sleeping on the couch because of this. No, they purposefully made him look like shit because his character is supposed to look like
And
shit.
he hasn't slept in 100 years except
Exactly.
in a tent with his boss.
yes.
Spoiler. And
So it's like when they show him, like they have the cutback or the flashback scenes, and he looks like Adam Scott again.
Yeah.
And I was like, you see, he still looks like
Right.
this. Everybody's like, oh, Adam Scott looks like shit now, and it's like. Not in interviews, it's just that character.
Yeah, the guy-
And it's on purpose.
the guy whose brain is cut open to make half of him never
Yeah.
sleep seems tired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you get in a fight with your wife over how he looks and you have to sleep in the living room, would you consider that Adam's cot?
You gotta quit, man. You gotta knock it off.
I shouldn't. My microphone just fucking yeah, Kyle was shoving Viagra into his microphone stand.
Luigi just comes out and shoots you.
I would.
This episode
I would
is brought to you by
respect it.
Blue Chew for microphones.
All right, so there we go. I think he is great.
Yeah,
and he
I
is
love
always
Adam
really
Scott.
funny.
Yeah, I like a sad kind of looking guy too. Like Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine's great, but like Mark Ruffalo also, I love him.
Mark Ruffalo always looks so tired of everyone else in the movie with him, and he's very good. I agree.
love
He's
it.
so underrated. He's always really
Adam
good.
Scott in what was that HBO show that he was in? Big Little Lies. I love him in
Yeah,
that.
I
he was
didn't
really
see
good.
that.
He's really good in that.
I stopped in that town in
Carmel or something.
California, wherever it is. I was doing shows up like north of the bay and then through the bay, and then I was like, I have 2 days. I'm gonna take the coast down and do all the like drive through like Pebble Beach and all of that sort of like stuff.
Right.
And that town, I'd never even seen Big Little Lies. But they were like the Big Little Lies town, and I was like, "Oh, I bet it's like cute."
Is that like on
and
the
I went,
Welcome
yeah,
to
it's
sign
like
up?
everywhere. And I stopped and got coffee, and they're like, the coffee shop from Big Little Lies. And then I talked to someone who likes the show, and they were like, they didn't actually make any of the show there. They shot 2 exteriors.
Nice.
And this
Yeah.
town is like, yes, that's us.
That's hilarious.
You might
I don't even know
recognize
what
us from
town
an
it
aerial.
is.
I don't remember what it was called, but
Yeah.
they were like very, very because it was. I mean, I was just like stopping to like pick strawberries and get all the little stands and stuff. And,
Big Little Lies strawberries.
yeah, exactly.
Big Little Lies healthcare.
We're the
Nicole
big. We're the
Kidman took to this
BLLPD.
They just named the town Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies City, the town.
The mayor is a dog.
Two more questions. Mike, you have to answer what Tom would answer. What is a popular or beloved movie that you really don't care for?
Oh,
So
I
think
have
of
to
yours.
About that. Okay.
We can think. You can.
got
We can
one.
take an hour to do this.
Let's take an hour. Let's,
Yeah,
let's try that out.
An hour break.
Just and silence.
Not a break.
Guys, I need
Not a break.
silence.
No. Yeah. It's a take 5 bar, but it's there's.
I'm
12
gonna
of them.
guess. What would be like something that's really beloved?
I'm gonna edit the gap in so I did that math faster. of 60
many
divided
take
by 5.
Nice.
It's gonna be like it's gonna take 5 hours. 12 of them. I'll cut that pause.
Too
out.
fast. You creep everybody out.
For some reason, the only thing that's popping in my head is Saving Private Ryan. But like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tom hates the troops.
yeah,
I saw that movie in theaters when I was far too young to. I was like, it was one of those movies where your mom lets you go to a rated R movie and you're like, well, this isn't what I wanted. Like,
This isn't boob R. This is death R.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
war R. And I was bored out of my fucking mind as however old I was.
Yeah, at the
7 or
beginning you're
whatever.
probably hyped and it's crazy
Yeah.
and you're like, then it's going to give you nightmares. And then
Yep.
it is a pretty slow war movie.
Very slow. So that's a decent answer. What popped to meet, like, I'm gonna try to find a score by meeting in the middle between that movie and the movie that popped in my head,
Okay.
which was La La Land. I did not like La La Land. I went to see it in theaters, had a very different experience than everybody in the theater, and I would say that those movies. I'd say 2.5. I think we're meeting dead in the
I'll
middle
give you
of
both
that.
3 because
La
I
La
can't.
Land-
I'll forget that I drew a half a tally.
Yeah.
I draw a hard line in the sand. You can't do 2.5.
No 2.5s.
Cut the shit. Cut this, and we'll come back. I'll clap again. You can't do 2.5.
You know goddamn well what you did was fucked up. You know I'm on a tally system over here.
2 more. There
the
actually
fuck
is
is
2 more
half a
now.
tally?
Tom, think of your answer. Mike, guess what Tom's answer is. Is there a movie that you love that you avoid rewatching because it makes you feel too emotional or sad or sentimental? You're like, I love this movie. I
Right.
will not watch it again.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna say Up.
Actually, that movie, I love the beginning.
Yeah. I
A guy gets his freedom back.
I haven't watched Up in probably 10 years, mostly because it reminds me of my ex-fiance because we saw it in theaters together.
Yeah.
That
But
sounds like a 4.5.
that's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
The answer that I was thinking of was Manchester by the Sea because I loved it. It's an incredible movie, and I have
2
no
movies where
interest in
men
watching
float
that
away.
again. Yeah, I'll give you a 4.173. Trying to figure out that fucking tally.
I have a .173 pen. Just like a marker I hit and stamp down. Final one. Have you ever walked out of a movie? If so, what movie?
Have I ever walked out of a movie? Yes.
All right.
Wait.
Yeah.
Michael Joyce.
Oh yeah, I'll let you answer. Yeah. but I have. The answer is yes.
Well, I know
In
you
theaters.
were dancing out of La La Land, so let's
He
think.
did the worm out of the theater. I don't even think that's a jazz thing.
What would you walk out of? It must be bad. Shit.
This is gonna be really hard, so it's gonna be.
I'm gonna go. What's the worst Marvel movie? I could see somebody like walking out of. Oh, okay. Maybe. Maybe it's a. I'm gonna say, Batman versus Superman.
Okay. So you almost accidentally got close because I didn't mean to walk out of this movie and I forgot that I did. I walked out of Black Panther, but not because of what you think.
Out of disgust.
Not because of what you think. I just didn't like there wasn't enough white people in it.
Not because I had somewhere to be. I just hated the woke agenda being shoved down my throat.
So I was in Boston and I was doing a NACA conference. And I lived in New York at the time, and somebody was driving back. We were supposed to drive back the next day, and then somebody texted the group and was like, hey, I'm actually going to drive back right now if anybody wants to ride back. And I was like, fuck, I want to get back now if I can. And so I stood up to leave, and it just so happened to be right when they made some joke at the little white guy's expense. And so it did look like I was like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
You just yell Wakanda at the screen.
But the only movie I ever remember walking out of just like this movie fucking sucks was this movie called The Sound of Thunder. And
I don't even know what this is.
I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. It was a dinosaur movie with a time machine, and it was so fucking bad.
Science fiction thriller. Yeah.
Yep.
Ben
and it
Kingsley.
was. I was like a very. And I still am like this. I don't like to waste money. So even if I fucking hated a movie, I would just sit and make myself watch
They time
it.
travel back to Safari with dinosaurs.
Yeah, and the CGI is so bad.
What
that,
year is this?
This would have
2005.
been 2005-ish.
So maybe 2006 in theaters. You're like, oh.
Well, me and my buddies used to in high. This was when I was in high school. We would buy a movie ticket, and then we would just go to the theater all day. We would just bounce from theater to theater. And I think that was like the first one of the day, and we were like, "This is awful."
Yeah.
Like, let's just fight. We just bought a ticket for whatever was playing, and I think that was the ticket we bought. So we were like, "Well, there's nothing playing for another 45 minutes. We might as well watch this and see how it is." It was so bad that we were like, "Fuck this," and we went and watched. I think we watched The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe again,
Just to see realistic looking animation.
Yes.
So we look at our current score. It is 18-18.
Nice.
Wow.
After that game right there, all the decimals really seemed to line up at some
Yeah,
point.
that's
It was very
incredible.
wild. We're gonna get into the script. The script at the end, you do get 75 points for writing a script.
Oh, perfect.
That
That
is add on
sounds
to
like
the
it's
end
going to
to
lean
see.
in my favor pretty hard.
I need to get the it's tough to tell. We'll see if Mike wrote any of it.
Special credit. to
Let's
Mike.
go ahead and maybe we should see where. Maybe we take a quick break.
Sure.
Is this so Lost, which I
Yes.
love.
I've only
Do you
seen
like
part
the-
of the pilot.
I love
last
this show.
Seasons.
Did I what?
Did you like it all the way
I
through?
hated every moment of being involved with watching this show.
Yeah.
There's have you seen it?
Yes.
I absolutely adore this show. And one of the last reasons I like it is the quality of the show.
What do you like about it then? The
I love
performances?
that they had a lot of episodes.
Sure.
And now a show comes out and they're like, did you see either episode this season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Matt Smith walk around a castle for a
Yeah.
whole season of premier prestige television? Wow. This was like, sometimes it felt like they forgot they needed more episodes of this, and so they just churned. They're like, we forgot episodes 8 through 14 this season.
Let's do some flashbacks.
Let's fucking throw some shit in there.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's cut their hair. Flashbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the good episodes of Lost. We'll do the script and then we can talk
Yes.
all about it. So, and what are you bringing into it,
excited.
Tom?
I only saw part of the pilot. I saw the plane crash. I might have seen the whole pilot and just forget because it was like probably around season 3 or 4 or something like that. People had talked about it so much that I was like, I better watch this or I'll be out of the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And then I watched the whole pilot, I think, and then I was just like, I have zero interest in watching another episode of this.
Well, if you want to watch the pilot now, just turn on the news.
Thank you. That's reflected in the script.
The Cheeto, the commander in Cheeto, my least favorite energy to have. Okay, so you saw, it was so massive.
Right.
Like, it doesn't even feel like anything. We actually had someone, Kevin Sullivan, just did Severance, and this was like my touchstone for.
That's what a lot of people.
It's been a little while for people to talk for the dialogue around it and the theorizing around it, because I think Game of Thrones was so massive. We all talked about it. Breaking Bad, we all talked about it.
Yes,
but there wasn't. Game of Thrones a little bit the theorizing,
yeah,
but not to the point of like the internet.
Yeah. Well, also, it's like there haven't been a lot of shows where they're just giving you so little. And it's such a weird mystery thing.
There would just be a thing for one episode, and they'd be like, what was that?
Right.
And now we can spend weeks talking about
exactly,
that.
Like the goats or whatever in Severance. I mean, there's a million things, but this, you'll see there's one thing that I had heard about. It was so in the zeitgeist that it had to be
great
in the script.
Cast it however you'd like. I'll have you do the exposition, like the stage directions.
I'll be Jack for sure. Mike, I'd love you to be the captain, and Kyle, if you want to be the flight attendant,
great,
and Kate. And then there's
do you guys make out in this script?
No.
Do the flight attendant and Kate make out in this script?
And then I'll be everybody else.
Great.
That's because there's some one-liners.
There's like reveals and stuff. You can just do it as we do. I'll be Kate and the flight attendant.
Okay. Lost by Tom Thakkar.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
Need for sure. Oh, you're gonna need those for sure.
If you guys didn't notice, I picked up 2 guns.
All right. Interior airplane day. We see a plane full of people, the kind. Fuck, I fucked my own shit up. I wrote this late last night. We see a plane full of people, the kind, assuming that their plane is going to land all normal like stupid pigs. Jack, the main guy, sits next to his girlfriend, Kate. She's watching Making the Band on her iPad.
God, I love this show. And my favorite part is that P. Diddy is such a good guy.
Will you ever shut up? I'm trying to listen to this new Kanye album, Graduation. Surely he will never miss. We cut to the bathroom. A bit of smoke is coming from under the door. The flight attendant bangs on the door.
Sir, you can't smoke on this plane.
The plane starts shaking. Captain voiceover.
Excuse me, this is your captain speaking. Whoa, is that what my voice sounds like? Fuck. I thought I sounded way different than that. Shit, man.
The turbulence gets worse.
So, this is your captain speaking. Is that better? Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This turbulence is bad, but I'm a pro. I'll be able to get us right through it. That is as long as no smoke gets in my cockpit. But why would that happen?
We see the trail of smoke from the bathroom door go into the cockpit.
Anyhow, just got to press this anti-turbulence button and... What's that? Ah! I'm deathly allergic to smoke. What kind of monster would smoke on here? Where is this smoke monster? I'm dead.
The plane starts nosediving.
Nobody panic. 1 in every 2 planes crash these days, so I think we'll be okay.
The turbulence causes the flight attendant to fly through the window. Jack, this low-key sucks. Crash. The screen goes to black. Exterior, the beach, hours later. Out of the wreckage of the plane, about 10 people emerge. Jack finds Kate. That was nuts. Are you okay?
Yeah, I guess. Is everybody okay?
The crowd grumbles. Seems like most are fine. Charlie, the Lord of the Rings guy, chimes in. Look, the facts are the facts. We don't have much daylight left, and we're going to have to eat somebody pretty soon.
What? We don't even know where we are. There's still a bunch of snacks from the plane.
Miss Casey from Severance, I love that show, right? Pipes up. I don't have any cell phone service, and I have Mint Mobile. That's the Ryan Reynolds one. I think it's safe to say none of us have cell reception then, because if it was possible to have cell service, Ryan Reynolds would have given it to us. For now, I think our best bet is to build a fire. Yeah, I bet the guy who was smoking on the plane could probably help us with that. Yeah, who the hell was that anyway? Some kind of terrorist? I say we find that guy and eat him first.
I have pretzels and cookies right here.
No, they're right. We need to find that smoke monster and find out what his motivation was. Joe Camel comes out of the woodworks. Yeah, let's kick that guy's ass. Everyone looks at him. What? Jack. Ah, shit. Is that a half camel, half man? We're in fucking purgatory, aren't we? God damn it. Everybody starts ganging up on Joe Camel, who now has a cigarette in his mouth. I swear I'm cool, man. Jack. Hey, buddy. Get lost. Lost Plus by Coldplay with Jay-Z starts playing. The end.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And what range?
Now, Smoke Monster.
Smoke monster.
I don't know if you know that you accidentally had animal completely out of their climate sitting on the island.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
While you had Joe Camel, a desert resident, the pilot has a polar bear on the island. Similar shape, similar,
Interesting.
completely out of its element.
Yes. I forgot about that, 'cause I
And
think I did see that.
It is, you know, you could. This might be the show that just completely guessing absolute asinine bullshit would get you the closest to references of things. You'd be like, and then there's a whole bunch of other people who have lived and pushed a timer, and you'd be like, that was 9 episodes of the show. That was a whole season arc of a guy. A boat approaches with people on it, and a boy's gone, and then he comes back. Oh, that was 15 weeks of the show.
Nice.
Pretty close.
That was pretty.
Hey, that was a good time.
Great Diddy reference.
Yeah. Oh,
Was he
we
part
loved
of it?
him then.
Yeah,
There's the
yeah.
episode of Lost where he makes them walk to Brooklyn to get cheesecake for him. He has to go to the other juniors, not the Times Square one.
It's got to be the original.
That was what I hated about Diddy until pretty recently.
Right. That was the most fucked up thing he had done.
Yeah, and the most fucked up thing he did until everything he ever did was he let them call themselves Da Band.
Right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Making Da Band.
And they were on making the band, and they're like, we're Da Band, and he goes, great.
Wait, was Da Brat in the
perfect.
band?
No,
This is the season 2 is all legal situation here with ceases and desists for that situation. Diddy's worst legal situation probably.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm talking about baking, but that's all I remember about that show is they went by Da Band, and I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah, that sucks.
And everyone's like, yeah.
Man, remember O-Town? They were
Making the
cool.
band?
I can't. Was it? Yeah, I knew
Did
they were a
anyone
reality
famous come
show.
out of O-Town? It wasn't
think
Nick
so.
Lachey's 98 Degrees.
No.
And the other kid who's younger, Harry Styles, is from a different one.
He's from.
But that's like
One
another
Direction
super
or
group put
something?
together.
Oh yeah, One Direction.
Right.
But that's different.
Yeah.
That's different boy band.
These are all
era.
different.
O-Town. I don't know.
O-Town
Jake,
just
did
had
anyone
that.
come out
Where
of
are they
O-Town?
O-Town had the song "Liquid Dreams."
Yes.
Girl, you are the star.
Dan
which
Miller.
is so gross.
No, I don't know.
Wait, what is Liquid Dreams?
It's about a girl. It's a guy saying, "You are the star of my liquid dreams." Liquid dreams meaning wet dreams.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Calling
It's
them
like a
liquid
worse
dreams is so much grosser.
You have like, this is my moist mat. And you're like, what?
Yeah. You are the star of my H2O dreams.
He does the whole
Trying to
chemical
find it
compound of cum without actually like saying it. What if cum was just H3O? That's the only change. We didn't realize we're one step from the Oppenheimer is about how he's trying to split cum to blow up a country.
The actual chemical makeup is C3PO.
C3P hole.
C3PO.
Because if I see 3 private parts, I pee hole.
Oh yeah.
This will help the SEO of the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So Lost. It was so huge. Was a week-to-week watch, which is rarer and rarer. Severance is really pushing in for the first one of those.
Severance
in a
and
while.
now I guess White Lotus is like that too.
Yeah, it does. I don't feel like White Lotus is quite
No.
on the Severance level of. Sometimes those miniseries will though, and
It is kind of
during
weird
COVID,
though, because
it was like the doc about the Bulls. But
Yeah.
that was because we
Yeah.
were all
Yeah.
inside. We're
We
like,
needed
yeah,
it.
we love the Bulls and Tiger King.
Yeah, Tiger King.
The weird thing with Severance is I think it's quickly forgotten. I feel like nobody gave a shit about season 1 until season 2 was coming out. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I guess everybody watched Severance.
It was like able to really breathe and have recommendations. Like Breaking
Yes.
Bad was not a massively watched show when it premiered.
Right.
But the in between seasons, people were like, you have to.
Yeah, it wasn't until season
and then it grew and grew and grew.
that I jumped on and then I
Yeah.
was obsessed with it. But
And I think that Severance, while I hate the thing that I hold the most against television these days is the amount of time between seasons and the lack of episodes.
Well.
The amount of time between seasons here, which was not all entirely their fault. It was the
Right,
fault of
yeah.
greedy writers everywhere.
yes. You just need your little health care, don't you?
You do realize Tim Cook needs another house. Who made the
it's all about
podcast app? You know a guy who pulled an iPod out of his pocket 15 years ago. Steve made Jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, how fucking hard is it to write? I just did this last night.
Yeah, we couldn't even tell. You could have told me this was written 2 days ago.
In 10 minutes.
But that is like, I like Severance, and I am less interested. It is like, it is just not the amount of time, and then I have to like hit I didn't care right when it came back. It takes me a little bit. It's like I got to get the momentum ball going again.
Yeah.
But it did seem to get a lot more people interested, and Lost was
Definitely.
like. I still don't know if that early internet dialogue around Lost can be replicated. Reddit
Right.
has all the theories,
Yeah.
and TikTok there'll be theories. Although you'll see sometimes on TikTok they'll be like, the theories are so bad and
I
so
just saw
obvious.
one of these.
It's
It was
so
great.
obvious. They're like, I'm starting to think that the innies don't know their outies.
That's what I saw.
You're like,
I
this
just
is a
saw
whole
one.
fucking thing?
I just saw one that was so good. That was like, it was a TikTok one, and it was the first comment on it was making fun of how bad.
They'll be like,
the
yeah,
movie
that's
was.
the writing of the show.
They're like, I am wondering if the separation from work and personal life, they don't even know if they're the same guy.
Yeah, are they trying to make a comment on our lives?
Well, Kyle, this is exactly what you do on this show's Instagram account.
Yeah,
And-
which is like do the fake like movie thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I get
yeah.
all those in my feed
Yeah.
because all my stuff is like fake movie jokes, and then you just see there's such an insane. How do they know what to say? And you're like, I'm good for you for just because when I first took like film classes or whatever in college, I'd be like, oh, I'm discovering that there was a deeper meaning to what they're trying to do,
Yes.
and you feel crazy having not known that the whole time. The first time you're like, oh, there's everything's purposeful.
Right.
Maybe not, but then sometimes you're like projecting purpose onto things. What I think Severance has gotten into the realm of, where people's theories are projecting so far in
Yeah.
that if it isn't that, they'll be like, why wasn't this what I said it would?
Yeah.
But just seeing people learn that in real time online with their little green screen face in the corner of their video holding up a weird little lav mic
Yeah.
the entire time. You know, Miss Casey looks a little bit like the photo of Adam Scott's wife.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, "Oh, whoa!"
Yeah.
I'm think the biggest one, and this is severe Severance this season spoilers.
Oh yeah, be careful.
Hit
I'm a
the
little
15.
Yeah,
Oh,
be
but you've seen
very
like a couple
careful.
episodes.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah,
seen the
yeah.
camping episode?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Okay.
So skip ahead a minute if you haven't. Is people literally thought they were groundbreaking theorists that Helena was on the inside and not Helly.
Right.
People were like, I've deduced, and I'm like, you're
Which
not
is like,
deducing.
they
They're
kinda-
telling you.
They told us in the first episode.
They're telling you.
Yeah.
They're making like, well, if you watch closely, you can see that you don't have to watch closely. I bet in the script it said Helena. If you turn the captioning on, it says Helena.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, this
Yeah.
is, and I'm like happy that you're watching critically,
Sure.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I'm ultimately like, they aren't hiding anything. And I like
Yeah.
that about the show. That's my thing I like the most about Severance is they generally address everything quickly. New thing introduced, directly addressing it.
Yes.
There's
There's a couple things.
they
that
let some
they
things sort of,
really
but like
fuck with
Helena
the
is
goat
outed
thing?
by
yeah,
the
the
river.
goat thing is still.
I guess
Yeah,
they
but-
went to the goat area.
Ultimately, I don't see
Yeah.
them like trying to track down what they're for. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But like Helena at the John Turturro, the big giant episode, that is addressed immediately to start. And instead of like, and then we do a weird flash or she pretends and they wipe their minds and like they're the change that happens in it generally is pretty impactful right away, except in between seasons where it's like, and now we have to find a reason that all these people are still here in any capacity.
Yeah. I will say the show is fucking great. I watched the whole first season in one day because it had gotten wrecked to death for me. It was during COVID or whatever, and we put it on and watched for fucking 9 hours straight.
I mean, it's really, really watchable, and I love ultimately like Lost is to sort of like bring it into
I feel bad now. We're just talking
no.
about
I think it's the most logical thing to do.
It is
because it is Lost. The difference between Lost and Severance, the biggest thing for me was like as far as like Lost was a network television show, so it had to make more people happy.
Yes.
And it was kind of being strung along. There's this book called The Revolution Was Televised, which is like a lot of essays about this prestige TV, whether it's like from like Oz and 6 Feet Under and then The Wire and The Sopranos through like Breaking Bad and Mad Men. And that's sort of like that era of television, The Sopranos being like the heavy lifting of the thing. And he talks about how Lost was sort of they didn't know when they would be off the air and they were on a weird like 3-episode leash. And so they kept having to write the show thinking they could wrap up the whole show in 3 hours.
That's crazy.
For 2 years.
That's nuts.
They're like 35 or 40 episodes. And so you're just sort of like, they're
makes
like
a lot of sense.
kicking the ball a little bit down the thing.
Yeah.
And then the ending people didn't necessarily love. I don't know if I think the idea of it being purgatory is sort of permeated further than I believe that was actually the execution. I think there actually literally were there. And I think anyways.
Yeah.
But it is the good episodes of it are just so incredible, and the bad ones are so fun. Like ultimately, it's a little like the X-Files in that way to me.
Yeah.
And then there's so many of them, and because it was on network TV, you're like, oh, there's 3 cliffhangers an episode because there's commercial breaks.
Right.
So there's like a act 1 where they got the. And then the Lost logo would pop up like they have their sound cues.
Yeah.
So these scripts are like written to get you in and out of ads in
now
a way
I feel
that
bad
I think
that I didn't
benefited
watch
the
it,
show.
'cause it does sound fun, and it's one of those things that the catalog, like you said, there's so many fucking
Yeah, I mean, now
episodes.
you're like, what,
It's
I got
so
90 hours?
daunting. It's such a daunting catalog that it's like I don't care enough. And like
that
then
fine.
it's when you have shows like that, you're almost relieved when you find out everybody's pissed off at the end.
Right.
Like I had that with Dexter, where I watched the first 3 seasons or four seasons, and then I tried to start 5, and I was like, that sucks. I just couldn't get into it. And then by the end, everybody was like, yeah, this fucking wasn't worth watching anymore. I was like, yes, I won. I won TV.
Right. It's it's a little like Game of Thrones here at the ending. I don't think this ending
But then
is as
Sopranos,
bad as
everybody bitched about the ending, and it took me forever to finally end up watching it. It's the best show of
I
all
love
time.
the show, and I think the ending is
the ending is
perfect.
perfect. It's incredible, and I think part of why people didn't like the ending of that is that they were coming out once a week, and so people forgot what had happened in the fucking episode right before the finale, where they tell you exactly what happens in the finale.
Yeah.
And so being able to watch it right after I saw that episode, I was like, what the fuck is everybody's problem with this? They set you up for what happens.
Yeah.
Tony's alive though, right?
There is like
news.
the guy who wrote that book I was talking about was a TV writer in the town The Sopranos took place for like the New Jersey newspaper.
Oh, really?
So he would review The Sopranos, and he would be the guy who would take The Sopranos. Is just such a big fucking deal when it's on.
Of course.
So he in the book like publishes some of the letters or like references letters he got the day after the finale. That's like, my fucking cable cut out. I'm gonna fucking sue HBO. Like people, he's like, it's just all these like New Jersey people
so
being like,
funny.
I'm gonna sue TV for me being mad.
I would love to see that.
It's a
court
great book.
case.
It's a super quick read. I'm gonna
read
look it
that.
up just to make sure I'm not like misquoting who it is the entire time. The Revolution.
Do you think
was-
Severance is going to be able to stick the landing though?
That's what I'm worried
it's
about.
like
but
those shows with like so much mystery.
It's called The Revolution Was Televised by Alan Sepinwall.
the first, just to address young Mike's question here. I was thinking about that the first like 3 or 4 episodes. I was like, everybody is really up Severance's ass, and I love this show. And you can't go on Threads. Sorry, I'm off Twitter.
You can't go on bisky.app.
Yeah, you can't go on Threads without being flooded with like, this is the greatest show that's ever fucking existed, and they suck the writing's dick so hard, and you're like, the first 4 episodes, I was like, let's give it a fucking minute, man. I love the show, but you're making it, you're doing too much. Like they're trying too hard to get clicks or whatever off of Severance shit. And then by not this past episode, but the one before, the Miss Casey episode, I was like, I don't even give a fuck what happens. The writing is so good that I'm enjoying the ride so much that whatever they do, I'll appreciate.
You know, I said this, I've about things before, and Lost might have been my example, being like, I don't really care if the ending wasn't super fulfilling for me because the ride. Game of Thrones made me eat my own words on that phrase.
That's the other show that I didn't watch, and I was like, I had the same thought as everybody hated the end so much that I was like, oh, I'm glad.
Ultimately, I think that watching it for the first time is good and worth it, because I think that its best stuff is aside from maybe the Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson movies, I think is the greatest fantasy stuff ever created. As far as like watching it,
yes.
I don't know. Fantasy reading is so massive that I don't. But like as far as like movies or TV shows, it's as good as anything that's ever been made in that. But rewatching it, knowing the ending, pissed me off. It made it harder to enjoy because it is some of it is the best character shit ever and the most fulfilling character stuff, and then it is just such a rug pull of insanity at the end. So when I'm like, because I'm watching Severance and I think about the ending and I'm like, I don't ultimately care too much if the ending is completely stuck, and then I'm like, I probably fucking do. But I don't know. I just can't picture a world where it's as bad as Game of Thrones ending, which is, I think, worse than people will tell you.
Really? That's funny because it's like I bet it's a sunken fallacy or sunken cost fallacy thing where people put so much fucking time into it. That they're like, it's not that bad. It's fine.
People watching, I'm like, I think it worked. And if you get to binge it, maybe it isn't. If your first watch takes you 2 months rather than 11 years or whatever to get through it, maybe you're not as invested. Or what? It's like 7 years, I guess. It was on 9 years, maybe.
I can't think of anything that's pissed me off that.
But I just ultimately was so upset.
I was just pissed Wings didn't get a finale.
You know how like everybody's pissed off about the Seinfeld ending or whatever, and then they kind of tried to fix it with Curb or whatever. It's like, but with comedies it doesn't matter. I just won't watch that.
You know, I've never really watched too much Seinfeld. I've seen like a couple. I took like Second City sketch classes, and we watched. Chinese restaurant episode in the sketch class, and then I read what the ending was because everyone talked, and I'm like, that sounds funny as shit.
You know, it sounds funny.
How can we bring all these characters?
I think it's funny to like hold.
It's a funny idea
to hold sitcom characters accountable for their behavior. Is hilarious.
There's definitely some really funny moments. I think that people
were watching it in Times Square. People went to Times Square to watch it live with the audio on the screen.
I do think there's an element of, especially back then, watching, because you got to think like Friends was on at the same time, and people were so like, these characters are my friends or whatever, and they're watching Seinfeld.
I'm this. You are the name. You are a Rachel. You are this.
But you're watching Seinfeld, and there's an element of like, oh, I actually care about these characters' lives, which when you watch it now, you're like, yeah, these are cartoon characters. It's funny. And having like It's Always Sunny is the real cartoonish version of Seinfeld. It's all the same. Like they do so much of the same shit.
There's a little bit of like, this is this person from this sort of thing.
But,
I get that.
But they get away with being absurd, whereas like Seinfeld, they would do absurd things, but it still lived in reality. And seeing your characters that you lived with for 9 years end up in prison. They were like, what? I don't want to think about Jerry rotting in jail.
I was like, this law seems unconstitutional.
It's also fucking stupid. But like those guys are like, this is a fucking sitcom. Who cares what happens to these characters?
Like they loved. There were shows that were that to them, and so like it's funny to kind of like flip it on its head at the end of this whole thing. But they were a lot of people's first that and like real investment. In all this
it's like if at the end of Gilligan's Island they were just like, fuck it, let's sink the ship.
They
like,
starved to death. I would love that.
Like the whole show, people are like, oh, I hope I hope they get back, and it's like that would be the end of the fucking show. Like that's what happened.
Do they get back? Is it?
I actually never watched Gilligan's Island, but I've just heard that.
A lot of it. You'll
I think
have to
they end up
fact check me
Gilligan
back.
walks up to
No,
his
I
house
think
and Helen Hunt is there
they
with her
get
new
off
husband.
the island. There's like parades.
Yes.
And then they get on a boat and then they get stuck on the same island.
Really?
I'm
That's so
almost
funny.
That's really
positive
funny.
God damn,
That's a
that's
good
funny.
comedic ending.
Yeah.
I
but-
think about like shows with endings that I really, really liked. I think about Parks and Rec.
Yes.
A comedy that I really
Loved
liked
it.
that did I sort of think of I relate it to Severance because okay, so think about this with like a
Well,
show.
they both have Adam
why are these people still there? I think about this a lot. If characters are growing, why are they still there? And Lost, they have to be there. And then Lost would start doing flashbacks and flash forwards. That was a crazy reveal. They were doing they were off the island and doing a flash forward, and you're like, I mean, I remember watching that on TV and going, "Fuck!" Like it was so fucking. He's like, we have to go back.
Oh,
And you're like, oh, fucking
shit.
fuck, dude. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
That just
he
gave
was,
me
like,
goosebumps. I didn't even
flying.
watch
I
it.
forgot about that.
And Parks and Rec is what I think about because it happens. I think it's hardest with comedies, with like a sitcom comedy,
Yes.
like The Office. Why do they still fucking work there? These people are either you're making them too competent, or they should be fired. They should be getting promotions. They should be doing this. They should be
tried
doing
to
that.
do it with Jim, and then
And
he
they did,
becomes
and-
this like awful character.
And that was the problem. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And then ultimately they're just like, let's just go back and do a finale. The finale to The Office is so much. It's like fan service to the first 6 seasons of the show rather than anything.
You
to
can
any of the
almost
rest of it.
skip the last like what 2.
When Michael
3
you could
seasons.
skip Michael
after
leaving
Michael leaves, and then
go
skip
ahead.
to the wedding episode.
And
Yeah.
Parks and Rec did such a nice, like, weird balance
loved
of
it.
everyone sort of leaving and doing other jobs
Yeah.
and staying around the town, but not staying around the town.
Yeah.
Well, that
And-
jump thing they did, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
I loved that. Where it's just like, fuck it. Now that's the last season is just in the future.
It's in the future because it made no sense for Ron to keep working there. It made no
Right.
sense for Leslie. Leslie, they would have to constantly like kick her down to keep her at this job she was way too overqualified
Right.
for. And I think they did a really good job of it with that show. And then I watched like in Severance, I'm just sort of like, there are these occasional behavior things where someone seems to act just out of any rational thought, or with irrational thought to make them not do a larger thing to not be in this anymore.
Yeah.
right.
And ultimately, but I'm just like, I don't know, maybe, and I'm interested to see how they keep that going.
Sure.
But they've done a good job of like the first season sort of builds like, well, these people would be doing big things to not be here, and then boom, they did that. They did like these huge behavior to not be around anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just always interested in that with TV shows of like, how are we still here if time has progressed?
right.
How are we still here if anyone's good at anything?
Yeah.
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 Or if these characters like rationally, if their behavior has been affecting their future behavior.
Yeah.
How are
I
we
do
still
think
here?
you're right that it might be The Office that suffers from that more than any other show. And it's like if they had just ended it a little earlier, we could have avoided so much stupid shit.
It was
and
just
it's
a cash grab.
And I don't
Of
even like
course,
hold any
yeah.
of the performance.
Oh,
Yeah, I
no,
mean
of course not.
that show was keeping Parks
And
and
there's-
Rec on the air and
Oh,
keeping
yeah.
Community on the air.
There's still a few, and there's still moments from those seasons that are fun. It's not all
There's funny
wash.
people,
Like
I
Will
think-
Ferrell's in
yeah.
it. It's like the Robert California shit is funny. Like
Yeah.
there's stuff that is funny. It's just that the big problem is with the Jim and Pam type, which is like. It's like you said with sitcom shows or with network shows, they have to keep a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
So some people are just watching The Office because of Jim and of the fucking love story.
Yeah.
And then some are watching because they're like, this is like a sketch comedy where they have like weird little pranks going on throughout and whatever. But once the Jim and Pam relationship evolves, they started getting fucking weird with it, and they were like, now we have to make it complicated.
They
to
really
keep
just
it
couldn't let
tense.
them continue to be happy.
It was so
And
stupid.
because I think that the two of them are uninteresting. Versus
Yes.
like Parks and Rec, whenever Leslie and Ben get together, they just let them be happy.
Yes.
And their problems they have, even like their kids don't become a strain on their relationship.
Right.
It just makes them tired parents.
Yeah.
But they just let them ultimately still be happy and love each other how they did.
Yeah.
And stay busy in other conflicts outside of it, which seems to be like where the Jim and Pam thing was like, we're almost, I don't want to say like overthinking it, but they're
Yeah.
like, they need to have this weird cheating.
Yeah,
It was
did she
so
cheat on him
fucking.
with the boom
she
mic
didn't.
operator?
And she didn't do it, but it was like a possibility. It was like emotional cheating or something like that. It was just fucking weird.
And Jim
yeah.
was a sports agent.
Yeah, Jim becomes a failing sports agent.
Yeah.
And it's such a different story that it's like, what the
And
fuck
none of
is
them were
this?
ever spending all day on Facebook, which I thought was unrealistic for the show. Like, if they're really going to be working in an office in the early 10s, like, it's just going to be Farmville.
That was what was so great about so much of the early stuff is like Michael sending those dumb chain emails. It's like, that is working in an office. That is it. Like, they're doing it.
It was, but ultimately it made the network so much money, and they got to keep other shows on the air because of all the money.
I'm not mad at that.
Did you guys want to see Jerry and Elaine and Seinfeld get together at the end?
No,
not a big Seinfeld guy, so I don't know.
I did not care about that.
I was picturing Jerry
upset.
from Parks and Rec when you just said that.
I love that, like, if you break Seinfeld down to its bones, it's like all of these characters are bad people, and like they do things that are in their own self-interest. And like, it's not just George; they all do shit. Like, nobody's doing anything. I mean, they do what little shit, like they pick each other up from the airport or whatever. But like that moment of them being like that, like what they get in trouble for, which is stupid, is who they are, and that's funny, and it fucks with the comedy of it. I watched this clip of what's her name? Julia Louis-Dreyfus talking about how they would write her character and how much she appreciated that, like, rather than her being some object of, like, every once in a while they'd have like somebody be like, oh shit, like her leaving that voicemail or whatever that's hot, and George like starts looking at her differently. Other than moments like that, like the masturbation episode where she's like, they weren't like, oh, what if we all masturbate to Elaine? Like that's where most shows would go. They were like, no, we're gonna make Elaine one of the fucking people. Like she's a real character and a real person. And I thought they nailed that part. And if they put Jerry and Elaine together at the end, I think that fucks with it a little bit. Now she's just now it's a love interest thing, and it's like it's so much more fun that she has the relationship with Putty. Yeah, and he's like he's my favorite character.
He's great.
He's the best.
Who is that? Is this someone
it's
famous that plays
David.
that?
What the hell is that guy's real name? David. Fuck, he's the
Alan Greer.
No. He had his own.
Robinson?
He was the Tick on.
The Tick.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. He's so funny.
Oh, he's got
he
good
in
like.
Emperor's
Hey,
New
he's
Groove?
got good voice.
I think he is.
Voice,
Yeah. He's hilarious.
Spade.
Now let's talk about Veronica's Closet.
Yes.
I think that if you watch Lost now, because if you think, some people call it like character assassination, where over time they really seem to contradict how they had written a character in an effort to like push them in a different direction or something like that. Lost has some examples of this that people aren't. Charlie, a character you put in this show, is sort of put through the ringer because he's like an addict and he's pretty interesting, and also the actor was in Lord of the Rings and was like the most famous person on this show, honestly.
Yeah.
And people liked him because he's kind of the punk guy, and ultimately he's a fuck up. And then the way they sort of evolve him, while his character has, I think, probably the most effective ending of anyone on the show, and maybe the best episode of the show, I think that he is sort of so unevenly written that people sort of don't hold some resentment towards the show. And a few characters on the show are like that. There's a lot of inconsistency. It's just so much going, and there's sort of like seem to be changing things based on how people were reacting and who they love. Oh, Sawyer is hot now, so we push him in. And I think he's like the most consistently written character on the show. But they're like, he's hot, push him to the forward. Oh no, Matthew Fox might not be able to act. We have a lot invested in him. Maybe pull back a little bit right there. Like what happened to anyone on the show when it ended?
Out of it because I watched the pilot and I was like, he's obviously you know, the face of it.
He does what they do a good job is new introduced characters continue to be good character actors, and they oftentimes are bad guys, especially early on. And the guy who plays Locke is also a very good actor, and there's a lot of good actors, and they gravitate. The amount of time spent with different characters goes away, but ultimately, I think Matthew Fox didn't quite have the chemistry of his face.
No, but he was good at like kind of brooding and just like.
I always thought he was good at being, if he wasn't the main guy, but you got to have a big hot doctor on an island.
Do you feel like Lost that was one of the first shows to like really react to like fans?
And I don't even know ultimately if they did or not. I know Lost was in that. A lot of my knowledge about it is based on that book. He said that it was essentially developed by producers as a show to make money.
Yeah.
And they were like, everyone loves Survivor.
Oh,
No,
wow.
really?
How do we keep it on forever?
That's smart.
And turns out they just keep making it. Turns out you put Deal or No Deal on that island. No, and they were like, how do we script this and control this?
Yeah.
So what's like this mystery sort of Survivor show, and then they, start bringing in the other like people to get involved with it, but they're like ultimately it was like the idea of some producers to make money.
Wow.
And they sort of just kept writing stuff to make money.
Wow.
And
That's
it fucking
interesting.
worked.
I do like the idea of if the fans really did dictate it. That actually happened with the show before. The Honeymooners, they really wanted Jackie Gleason to punch his wife. And no, I'm just
You didn't see? She literally became an astronaut and went to the
Straight
moon.
the way the first woman got to the moon was Jackie Gleason punched her up
Yeah,
there.
they put her on the Challenger. She was a school teacher. I saw a whole thing about it. I think that we can't let people have too much power. The Sonic the Hedgehog thing went straight to the internet's head, where they're like, actually, we bullied them into making 3 pretty good billion-dollar movies. All right, we got to take another break, and then we got quick games, and we're going to get out of here.
Nice.
All right, folks, we are back. We have a couple of quick games I want to play. One we have to play because I wrote it just for this. It's called Rapid Fire Trivia about a movie or TV show, where seeing the movie or TV show would probably help you with the trivia.
Okay.
Am I off here? You guys don't hear that, do you?
No, I do not.
Oh,
hear
I
that.
disconnected.
You're off.
Everyone relax. Here it is.
Probably.
It's rapid fire trivia about a movie we're seeing a movie that you really wouldn't help you with the trivia that much.
Probably.
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys. Another show that was on your list of things you hadn't seen was Rick and Morty. And Mike, you said you hadn't really seen Rick and Morty either.
No, just clips here and there.
So I'm going to ask you guys
T-shirts.
some trivia questions. Yeah, everything I've
taking
seen
it
about
in.
Rick and
Yeah,
Morty
yeah.
was the side of a sauce packet.
I've mostly taken it in through a carnival prizes.
It's been everything I know about Rick and Morty is the profile picture of who replies to my stand-up clips. I do love Rick and Morty. I think it's a great show,
Sure.
but God, is it like a fandom situation?
Right.
Yeah.
It is so funny because it's sort of like this Back to the Future, Star Wars, like it's like all of this stuff, and you're like, oh no, and you're like a heightened, insane version of that, and the fans are also the cartoonishly heightened, insane versions of like the nerd fandom of the other things. I'm gonna ask you guys some trivia questions about Rick and Morty. You have to answer what you figure it is. Just first thing that pops into your head. Almost like
Do we
pretend
buzz in? How do we?
you can buzz in and answer
Is this, this is verse and not a team?
Oh yeah, good question.
against each other.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like, I guess it's a verse. The chorus is coming up. None of this is rhyming.
Is this the bridge?
So answer what you figure it is. Whoever's closer will get the point. And just answer like you've seen it. Do you know what I mean? Like you do know the answer. Question 1: how many episodes of Rick and Morty have there been so far, Michael?
3,000.
Okay, Tom, higher or lower?
I'm gonna say 300.
It is 71.
Whoa!
There were some big.
man.
There was like big gaps in the.
I guess
the
I could watch it if it's
Oh.
only 71.
It's
I
really
thought this was
fun.
like Simpsons.
Yeah.
It is really, really fun.
Okay.
And then there was
Yeah, I thought
the
it was way up there.
revoicing of the main character when
Right.
Justin Roiland, all that stuff came out. And the people they brought on fucking kill it.
Nice.
Like they're very good. I think it's fun. Ultimately, if it's not a great episode, it's 10 minutes long. Like, and you're out. It's
Okay.
Adult Swim.
Oh, they're only 10
Right.
minutes long.
I think
I
they're
forgot
20.
they
They're
were
like
Adult
21
Swim.
minutes,
Oh.
but it's super fast. I like the show. All right, here we go.
That's not as daunting. as
No,
I
I
thought.
might just watch it then.
What does Rick use to travel between dimensions?
Oh, what the hell's? Oh, wait, I have no idea. Actually,
You
I was
are
thinking of
ultimately-
Doctor Who.
I'm going to say DeLorean because you said it was like Back to the Future.
Okay, Tom, your answer?
I'm gonna say, what the hell's that thing called? It's a Turcan. No, that's not it. I'm gonna say a phone booth. Fuck it.
It is a portal gun.
Okay,
Portal gun.
right.
So I'm going to say
Oh,
no
I've
points
seen
either.
them
Equally
shooting
close.
it.
But it does give some
Yes.
Doctor Who
I've seen that on a
vibes
t-shirt.
around
What's
the
the
show
name
as
of the
well.
thing that Doctor Who
TARDIS?
Yes, TARDIS. That's
Yeah,
what I was
well,
trying to think of.
Yeah, you can't say that.
we don't really say that like that. You can't reply to an email about the
Yeah,
TARDIS. That's the thing you can't do.
I told somebody I didn't watch Rick and Morty. They called me a TARDIS.
They called me a TARDIS cuck.
Who are Rick's two best friends?
Morty and Pickle Rick.
The confidence that set in just for that answer. Jake, have you watched Rick and Morty?
I watched the first couple seasons.
Did you like it?
I liked it at the time.
Yeah. I still watched the new one. I think it's been like 2 years now, actually, since the new one. I'm like, it's still pretty fun. But I didn't feel the urgency to be involved. It is not. All right, Michael, if you can get closer, you can get points here.
That
It is,
sounds like-
neither of those are correct.
I,
can you
I
get
really
closer?
thought that was.
Seemed like Morty was a gimme on that
I
one.
want to say it's like his family. I don't know their names. I'm gonna say it's a nephew and a sister.
See, the nephew or the no, it's none of those. He hates his family. Shit. We're looking for Bird Person and Squanchy. We're gonna get a lot of
close
that
to Pickle
energy
Rick.
from here on out. We're gonna get a lot. It's gonna be 1 point for Pickle Rick because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
at
yeah,
least a
yeah.
correct
Yeah,
reference. We're getting a lot of that Squanchy. Just keep that in mind because a lot of that verbiage is gonna be the
Okay.
What word should you never say to a Traflorkian, Michael?
Bangarang.
Okay, Tom, any answer here?
Bluchy.
Ooh, we're looking for glip glop. So I'm gonna go 1 point each. 1 point each.
Nice.
1.5.
It's so funny to do. I'm such a fucking not even competitive, but just like, oh man, how did I not think of that? Why would I have
get
thought
glip
of that?
glop?
I did notice when I put my hand up here, you put your hand up there too. Who's gonna ring it
Could
first?
be
say
closer to
something.
buzzing in. Hey guys, what is a schmeckle? Michael,
Unit of measurement.
Tom.
I think it's isn't it like a penis disease?
It's a currency. Currency. I'm gonna go Mike on that one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
unit
yeah.
measurement. What I forget, guys. What's the name of the planet that Morty's sex robot is from?
Earth.
Mike, any questions here? Any answers to get closer?
I'm gonna say Uranus.
Ooh, we're looking for Gazorpazor.
Me, how was that?
I'm gonna give one to Tom
Tip of the tongue.
because it'd been on Earth.
Oh, there
It
we
was
go.
on the tip
All right.
of my Gazorpazor.
Yeah.
Next question. Can either of you guys name one of Rick Sanchez's catchphrases? Tom, you held back from answering.
Bazinga.
Okay,
That's what-
Bazinga.
Yeah.
Michael, you wanna try to
That's
get closer?
quacktastic.
That's quacktastic. We're looking for Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. Also would have accepted Ricky Ticky Tavi Biatch. And that's the way the news goes.
Yeah.
I turned myself into a pickle Morty or Shum Shum Schlippity Dop.
I turned myself into a pickle.
He is
I
pickle.
should.
He is pickle Rick.
He is
Pickle
Pickle Rick.
So that's
Okay.
going to
'cause
be
he
1
turned
point
himself
each.
into-
Right.
So he said
Turned
that
myself into a
rubber
pickle.
baby bunkers would have been half credit. Next question. What is the name? Oh, no, we don't. What job does Beth have?
What?
Nurse.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Nurse
say. Spaceship operator.
Spaceship operator? Oh, I'm going to have to give you both credit. She is a horse surgeon.
Hey.
And so it is a fun running joke that she's like, I'm a surgeon. And people are like, a horse surgeon. You know what I mean? It's like very, but also
Damn, I
there is
was
an
so
alternative
close.
Beth who is a space, like another
true?
space
Really?
traveler from there's like a Beth from another dimension who becomes a
Look
pretty
at
regular
that.
character on the show who's a space.
Pretty good.
Operator
Pretty
spaceship.
good.
We're looking, the current score right now is 24-22, Tom. Once again, we haven't added this 75 points yet
Right.
for
That
the
might
writing
help
script.
me out in the long run.
Guys, what does Rick do with the Calaxarian crystals retrieved by Morty, Nancy, and Abradolf Lincer in the season 1 finale, Rixie Business? Mike?
He stuck it up his ass.
Okay.
I'm gonna say he kills. Wait, what's the name? I'm gonna say he kills.
Are
Morty-
you the details away from getting this?
He kills Morty's dad.
We're looking for he gets super high by snorting the crush.
Sure,
Up your ass,
sure.
I would say, is going to be
You
the
can still
Yeah.
get high if you
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
in your ass.
That's true.
Some say
it's
it
easier.
works faster.
Yeah.
What popular action program from the 80s is Rick and Morty's favorite TV series Balls Fondlers a parody of? What real television show is Balls Fondlers a parody of from the 80s? Mike?
He-Man?
Balls fondlers. I can't. The A-Team.
It is the A-Team.
Let's go!
That's 3 points right there.
Wow.
Final question.
That's crazy.
That's-
What
good
does
call.
Morty name his sentient muscle memory arm?
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no. I was thinking.
Mike?
I'm going to say Musky Wusky Frankel.
Okay, now you're looking stupid.
What the hell kind of answer was that?
You told me to just say gibberish.
His sentient.
His sentient muscle memory arm.
And his name is Morty, you said? Mm-hmm. Morty 2. Or The Stranger.
We're looking. We're looking for Armathy. Armathy. That's gonna be 1 point for Jake. Jake is on the board.
Nice.
All right. So our current score going into our final game here is 27 for Tom. Michael, you got 24 points.
Okay.
This one is worth 5 points.
I'm running here.
This game is called Guess What Movie Kyle's Dad is Describing, having only watched the
I love
trailer
this.
and never
Yeah.
having heard of the movie.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Guess what movie trailer Kyle's dad is describing, having only watched the trailer and never having heard of the movie game.
How this game works is my dad watches a movie trailer, describes what's happening in that movie trailer. You have to tell us what movie it's for. It's worth 4 points. Mike, this will put you in the lead if you
I thought
get
you
this
said
one
this
right.
was worth 5 points, not 1 second ago.
No, sorry, 4 points FOR. This one's 4 points. 5 points.
45 points?
This could be a movie from any time ever. What movie is this a trailer for? I'd say it's a pretty hard one.
Okay. She's saying he wouldn't be stuck in traffic if he listened to her. It started out like any other night, but plans changed. She left and now he gets in. Looks like they're doing plan B. He's saying they need to improvise while we see crazy fighting and shooting and knife fights.
Whoa.
More intense music. He said, I should only kill people after I get to know them. They're still in the car. The one guy is laughing. Tons of quick shots. Guns driving around now.
Can we guess?
Now a
Yeah.
Bonnie and
nightclub.
Clyde?
It is not Bonnie and Clyde.
Mr. and
He's
Mrs.
saying
Smith?
to shoot him if he wants to slow
Escape
down.
from New York?
It is not Escape from New York.
Shit, I talked over the very end.
There was probably no more information.
Okay.
Okay, they're running late. What's the Daylight? The one where Sylvester Stallone gets stuck in the tunnel. I guess there are no guns
Rocky?
in that one.
This is tough.
This is one of the harder ones.
Okay,
I don't know if I'll.
he's running late. He should get to know
Right.
people he kills. So
That's a big one.
that's a big one. So it must be a like.
Kill.
What's the what? Are we? Is this a? Oh, I
Yeah,
need
you
these
can work
fucking
together.
points.
You're
No.
fucked either
Sure,
way. He
why
gets 75
not?
points sitting in the wings here.
It's
What's
not Mr.
Natural Born Killers.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's a good guess. That's damn.
A lot of shooting.
You're
What's
right.
the one
Should've
with like
listened to me.
what's the one where they're I don't know. It's Rodrigo movie. It's who's the
Robert
guy?
Rodriguez?
Super 8? No.
Yeah, but-
no, not Super 8.
Planet
What the hell am
Terror?
I thinking? Yeah, it's
Like Death Ride or some shit like that.
right.
No.
He's a pretty
Uh,
famous director and 2 very famous leads.
Wow. And is it car based? They're in the
They're
car.
in a
Pulp
car a lot.
Fiction. They're in a car a lot.
Smokey and the Bandit.
One of my favorite LA movies.
Oh. It wouldn't be
Also, a lot
to
of
live
people
and
might just
die
not
in
have seen
LA.
it.
Yeah, I might. I don't think
Heat?
I've seen this.
No.
Mulholland Drive. Up to LA
We are
movies.
looking for Collateral.
Fuck.
It's a tough pull.
I like that movie too. I haven't
Yeah.
seen
That's
it
a
in
good movie.
forever.
Yeah, movie
when
rules.
you know what threw me off is when you said 2 famous leads. I was picturing a woman in the other leading.
Well, that was
spot.
your problem. It was a movie before 8 years ago. So you weren't playing the odds.
I should give that a rewatch. I love
that
it when
movie
it came
does
out.
rule.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Great
it.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
I mean, as good as Tom Cruise is in anything.
Tom Cruise is so good in that.
Well, let's check our score here. No points there. Michael, you got second place today. That's 24 points. Tom, I add your 75 points here. It's 103.
That's pretty good.
103 today. That's pretty good. That's tied.
pretty
You got you on the
good.
podium today, Jake. You had your point as
Love
well.
that.
Tom, the winner of the podcast. Let everyone know where to
Hey.
find you. Anything you'd like them to check out.
Yes. I've got a bunch of tour dates coming. They're all on my website, tomtakkar.com. That's THAKKAR. I'm doing 2 or 3 different weekends in Texas coming up. I'm doing Bloomington, Indiana Comedy Attic. I've got New Orleans. I'm doing the Sports Drink Comedy Festival, which should be really fun. Big one is Minneapolis. I'm doing Sisyphus Brewery, and that is a door deal, so I need you to come out for that one. Yeah, what else? I'm on Instagram and TikTok and all that shit at Tom Takkar. Please give me a follow.
Give him a follow.
Follow him.
I
let
need
him
it.
know.
I got a
follow.
bunch of people
It's
right
great.
now calling me a bitch for making fun of Elon yesterday, and ending my clip by saying
You know
Trump
what
is
is-
gay. I was maybe playing with fire on that one. That's all right.
Yeah.
I did see that one. I was like,
No,
you
that's a
should've
very
had that
funny
out.
clip.
Yeah.
I just love that you literally make a clip where the point is Trump supporters are sensitive.
Yep.
And people are in the comments like, I'm not sensitive. I just hated this.
Yeah.
Like, I think you
I'm
made
so
an
mad
Instagram
that
to comment on this.
Yeah, I'm so mad that I need to fucking tell you how much I hate this.
Yeah.
and that
You're so
actually
wrong about me
liberals are
overreacting.
sensitive. the funniest one I got was on TikTok. This guy is like, "Good luck trying to do this. Liberals are the most sensitive people ever." It's like you're the one commenting, and the video is of a conservative guy heckling because he's
conservative
upset
guy
that I made fun of Elon.
Gets sad,
Yeah.
yells something,
Insane.
and then another conservative guy yells more
Yeah.
about how other people are going to yell.
Yeah, but the liberals are the ones giving me trouble and saying
Yeah.
you can't say anything anymore.
People
That's
don't
why
know,
I
but-
left in the Trump is gay part because I don't want them to be like, "Oh, it's because you're woke" or whatever. It's like, well, now what the fuck can you say?
It's just like 80 comments calling you libtard,
Yeah,
which is short for librarian tardist. People don't know that. This is the, the real way to travel through time
Yes.
is with a good book. Mike, let people know.
Yeah, just I guess the Monday show every Monday in Eagle Rock. If you're in the
Yes.
Los Angeles area, Kyle's gonna be on a show coming up.
Yeah.
And sorry, Tom, we don't have room. And then,
Come on, man. Love the old Monday show.
Yeah.
Great time.
When is it? Mondays?
That's why nobody's coming out. It's actually on Thursday.
It's MUNDAY.
And at night, not Mike Joyce on socials.
Great. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.
I've never seen it.